you still looking at me?
Hey, what's up guys? It's Mighty back with another reaction video. This is a unfinished business, which is I got another requested by Storm Shadow. The title is called The Upcoming Remakes That Will Get You Pumped. Oh, I bet. And I can guarantee you there are titles that I know there is going to be that's going to be in theaters for this year or the next year, because I know I'll be look forward to it and just see if it's worth it or it's just basically a pass. And I ain't talking about like a decent pass. I'm talking about like it's not worth it. Okay, technically that's what the word is, smash. So let's not waste any further, and it's time to react.
They say there are no new ideas in Hollywood, and to that we say, good. After all, why waste time coming up with a bad new idea when you can just remake a classic old good idea? If something was a hit once, chances are it'll be a hit again, which is why Hollywood is currently working on another slew of awesome reboots. Here's a look at some upcoming remakes that will get you pumped. Little Shop of Horrors. The original 1960 version of Little Shop of Horrors was directed by Roger Corman and featured a brief appearance by a masochistic Jack Nicholson.
This is gonna hurt you more than it is me.
Oh, goody, goody, here it comes.
And Shining.
The film inspired an off-Broadway musical, which in turn gave birth to the 1986 movie directed by Frank Oz. Now, it looks like Tinseltown is opening up Little Shop for a third time. Deadline calls the new project a fresh version of the 30-year-old Frank Oz directed film. But on this go-around, Greg Berlanti will be the one shouting action. If Berlanti's name sounds familiar, that's because he's the producer behind TV hits like Riverdale, The Flash, and Supergirl. Hey, if anyone can defeat Audrey 2, it's the Maid of Might.
That was cool.
The Fly. If you're a horror fan, you know the original Fly starring Vincent Price hit theaters back in 1958. And in 1986, David Cronenberg decided to give the tale its own grotesque spin, casting Jeff Goldblum and Geena Davis in one of the nastiest monster movies ever made. Now, it looks like J.D. Dillard might very well create his own insect monstrosity. In March 2017, Variety reported that the up-and-coming director is in talks for The Fly, coming off his critically acclaimed debut, Slight. Dillard told Slash Film that if he ends up directing the film, he'll be focusing on the characters and not the effects, saying, I think if you look at a lot of remakes, and the ones that may have not been as successful as others, I think oftentimes the wrong pieces are remade. White Men Can't Jump. In 1992, Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes joined forces in the classic basketball comedy White Men Can't Jump, written and directed by Ron Shelton. The film was a major hit, earning over $90 million worldwide. So it's no wonder Hollywood is interested in a remake, with Blackish showrunner Kenya Barris producing and writing. And if there's one thing we know from watching Blackish, it's that he's got game. Does he think he can do better?
Bring it on, bad boy!
First Blood. We all know Rambo can survive in the woods, fight the Viet Cong, and shoot helicopters with explosive-tipped arrows. But can he sing and dance? Well, it looks like we're about to find out, as the action movie icon is headed to Bollywood. Starring up-and-coming actor Tiger Shroff, the First Blood remake will be titled Rambo. And according to Entertainment Weekly, the movie will follow the last surviving member of an elite covert unit of the Indian Armed Forces, who returns home to find that his land is in the midst of war. Filming on Rambo has been delayed for now, but they do have a cool poster, so here's hoping it comes out soon. Charlie's Angels. The classic 1970s TV series Charlie's Angels was relaunched as a successful film series in 2000, but Sony apparently figures it's been long enough for yet another try, as a new big screen version is reportedly set for a 2019 release. Nobody has actually been cast in it yet, but Elizabeth Banks is set to direct, and Kristen Stewart and
Am I missing something, or did I already react of the first trailer that came out about weeks ago? Yeah, I think I did. Okay, so I'm pretty sure people already know about this, so should I just continue with this or just skip it? Because
Cannonball Run. Despite being critically panned, 1981's Cannonball Run became a cult hit, spawning a sequel thanks to a massive all-star cast that included everyone from Burt Reynolds and Roger Moore to Sammy Davis Jr. and Jackie Chan. Now it looks like the racers are revving up their engines again, as Universal is bringing the Cannonball Run back to theaters. According to Deadline, Thomas Lennon and Robert Ben Garant of Night to the Museum fame might write the script, while Dodgeball director Rawson Thurber is attached as well. Here's hoping they somehow tie Captain Chaos into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Help is on the way! Justice will triumph! Dun, dun, dun.
Alien Nation. The 1988 film Alien Nation was a big enough hit that it spawned a spin-off TV series, so it makes sense that Fox might want to do a remake. However, according to director Jeff Nichols, his upcoming remake of Alien Nation isn't a remake at all, telling Screen Crush it doesn't really have anything to do with the original. Turns out, Nichols and Fox decided to slap the Alien Nation label on a totally unrelated project the director was developing, because why not? We don't know what the story is about, but at least the fans know what it's not about, so that's something, right?
So it's going to be different.
Flash Gordon. In 2015, it was announced that Matthew Vaughn, the guy behind Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, and both Kingsman films, would be remaking Flash Gordon. There's just one problem, though. Guardians of the Galaxy. Vaughn told Collider, "The only problem with Flash Gordon is Guardians kind of stole what I would have liked to have done with it. As a result, the upcoming Flash Gordon film has been delayed while Vaughn tries to figure out how to do it. Good luck, Matt."
Trying to do something original.
Nosferatu. Before Twilight, before Blade, there was Nosferatu. The first full-length vampire movie starred Max Schreck as the rat-like Count Orlok, an undead demon who sent audiences into hysterics in 1922. Nearly a century later, the film is set to be remade by the witch director Robert Eggers, starring the witch actress Anya Taylor-Joy and famed creature specialist Doug Jones as the vampire. Just when the film will go into production is up in the air, but we can't wait to see it when it finally arrives.
I would like to see that.
Pet Sematary. According to Variety, Paramount is planning to remake the classic Stephen King story Pet Sematary. With starry-eyed directors Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmyer.
Do I need to see this? Is this part necessary for me to see this? I mean, when the fact that the remake movie is already now out in Blu-ray and DVD in stores, which is
Logan's Run. It won a special Oscar for its visual effects, but in the 4 decades since Logan's Run's release, the movie has been largely forgotten by mainstream audiences. Directed by Michael Anderson, this sci-fi film was set in a futuristic society where people are executed once they reach their 30th birthday.
Well, no one has to die at 30! You can live!
It's a sci-fi premise that's begging for a modern take, and we'll soon get a remake courtesy of Simon Kinberg, who wrote X-Men Days of Future Past and X-Men Apocalypse. No word on who will star, but according to Deadline, they may make the lead a woman this time around, so it should be interesting to see what direction they head with it. Highlander. Among immortal swordsmen, there can be only one. But if we're talking about movies about immortal swordsmen, well, that's a totally different story. There have been multiple live-action Highlander movies, a couple of TV series, and a cartoon. And now it looks like Lionsgate is finally moving forward with the long-awaited remake of the 1986 cult classic, with John Wick director Chad Stahelski attached. And hey, no matter what happens, it's guaranteed to be better than Highlander 2. Fantastic Voyage. It's one of those science fiction classics that's largely been forgotten by modern-day audiences. Starring Raquel Welch and Donald Pleasance, the 1966 hit Fantastic Voyage follows a group of scientists who shrink down to microscopic size, climb inside a miniature submarine, and set sail inside a comatose patient, hoping to save him from a brain clot. It's a pretty cool premise, one that's just perfect for a remake. And fortunately for sci-fi fans, Guillermo del Toro is the man who will bring this tiny story to the big screen. Originally, the movie was supposed to hit theaters in 2019, but production was paused so that del Toro could focus on promoting The Shape of Water. Things appear to be back on track now, though, so assuming this really is the Oscar winner's next project, this sci-fi adventure will definitely be worth the wait. Flight of the Navigator. Tron wasn't the only cult sci-fi hit Disney released in the 80s. They also put out Flight of the Navigator, which was about a kid who is abducted by aliens and implanted with all sorts of secret knowledge that the government desperately wants their hands on. Now, Lionsgate and the Henson Company are teaming up for a new adaptation, and after briefly considering Colin Trevorrow in 2012, they're hiring Joe Henderson, the showrunner behind Lucifer, to pen the screenplay. And with the Henson Company's involvement, we've got our fingers crossed that we might get to see a few cool puppets.
You're very lucky, slave. Only the Emperor can drink your essence.
Okay, maybe not. But hopefully we'll at least get Paul Rubens back as the wisecracking computer.
Don't forget to feed Bruiser. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, on sesame seed bun. Whoa!
Cleopatra Jones. While not as famous as Pam Grier, Tamara Dobson left her mark on the blaxploitation genre with Cleopatra Jones, a kick-ass 1973 film about a woman who works as a supermodel as a cover for her real job, spying for the U.S. government. It's a pretty fun premise and perfect for a remake, and that's why Warner Brothers has hired Misha Green, creator of the WGN show Underground, to pen a script and create what Deadline calls the female answer to James Bond. Sounds promising. West Side Story. While it might not begin tonight, production on a brand new West Side Story will start in the very near future. This remake of the 1961 classic will be directed by Steven Spielberg, making his first musical. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Spielberg has been wanting to direct this film for decades, and now he's teaming up with screenwriter Tony Kushner to make his dream come true. Spielberg and Kushner previously worked together on Lincoln and Munich, and as Kushner has won an Emmy, a Tony, and the Pulitzer, we can safely assume the script is in capable hands. As for the cast, the filmmaker sent out a casting call in January 2018, searching for actors ages 15 to 25 to play the lead parts of Tony, Maria, Anita, and Bernardo. And thankfully, unlike the original film, Spielberg plans on casting the lead Latino characters with actual Latino actors, which is cool.
Good.
48 Hours.
That's good.
Hot off Saturday Night Live, Eddie Murphy made his feature film debut with 48 Hours, which basically created the buddy cop genre while becoming a box office smash. The action comedy is widely considered an 80s classic, but now it's getting a 21st century spin. Jared Carmichael is set to star and co-write the project, while brothers Josh and Ben Safdie, who previously directed the critically acclaimed films Heaven Knows What and Good Time, will be behind the cameras. Rabid. When it comes to body horror, it doesn't get any better or bloodier than the work of David Cronenberg.
What?
Though most of his films are famous, back when he was still rising through the ranks, he directed the forgotten 1977 cult flick Rabid, which presaged the whole zombie plague strain of films. And now it's going to be remade by Jen and Sylvia Soska. Known to horror fans as the Twisted Twins, the duo is set to begin filming the Rabid remake in April 2018, with what IndieWire calls a modern and relevant spin from the woman's perspective. We sure can't wait. Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.
Okay, first off, I've never heard of the movie called Rabid. And yet this was back in the 70s. Okay, so basically a contaminated substance that happened to a dog that's now contracted to a person, and that basically that they get the rabies and that they get infected. What do I know about all the 70s horror flicks? Because those were the trippiest, and those were the days that make you wanted to throw up, big time. But other than that, this is an interesting. So, personally, I would like to see if possibilities for like Cleopatra Jones. What else that I am look forward to, like Nosferatu, because I think Doug Jones, he's such an exceptional actor, because he did played Abe Sapien, the sea creature that almost resembled but not relatable. That's very promising for a really good Nosferatu. Honestly, that's pretty much all I could think of. And I apologize for skipping between Charlie's Angels to Pet Cemetery, because literally there's no need for me to have to look for that, because when the fact it's already been done. So consider I just did you a favor. Well, that's it for right now. So let's leave it a likes, and also leave comments down below if you enjoyed this. If this is some of the remix movies that you would like to see, then it was all worth for it. Mighty signing out, but I will catch you all in the next video. So take care, everybody.